Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today. My name is Trav. We have got Dimitri. Together, we represent the Tectum team, and we've got two stellar guests with one more on the way to bring to you guys today. Let me introduce them here right now. We have got Jared from Eesee, and we have got Rainlands from Gempad. Let's pass the mic around. Let's check in with everyone. First of all, Dimitri, how are you feeling today, my friend?
Hi guys, feeling excellent. I mean, slightly ill, but I'm just excited for the future launch.
Oh, goodness. See, this is what I love about you, Dimitri, is
the launch fever.
launch fever.
Launch fever.
Here we go. The only prescription is a successful TCT launch, so we got to save Dimitri here today, guys. Excellent. Thank you for being here, my friend. Regardless your raging fever, you are a true champion, and we appreciate you. Jared, welcome. Thank you so much. Why don't you take a moment and introduce yourself? Let us know how you're doing today.
GM, I'm doing good. I wish that StreamYard has like these emoji buttons that we can click like on X.
Yes.
I wanted so much to react, but I couldn't behind this muted mic. But nonetheless, I'm excited to be here. Just want to introduce Eesee a little bit to the audience in case anybody's not familiar. So Eesee.io is one of the launch pads that is going to be launching. Tectum. And we are next gen Launchpad. We've launched 83 projects so far, raising more than $9 million. And we're only like a little bit more than 1 year old. So we're very excited to be hosting and to be able to partner with you guys and launch you guys. So yeah, let's go. Looking forward to the discussion.
Wow. Okay, let me just highlight that real quick, Jared. You said just about a year old your project is, and you've already launched 80 plus projects. That sounds like an incredible track record, my friend. Look forward to talking more about that. And of course, last but not least, we have got Rainlands from Gempad. Rainlands, thank you so much for being here today. Same question goes to you. How are you doing today? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. Now, first and foremost, it is an absolute pleasure to be here. So thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you for the lovely introduction. And of course, Jared, it is a pleasure to be on the microphone with an amazing launchpad that you guys are offering here as well. So yeah, super, super excited. The energy, it is through the roof. I am feeling fantastic. Dimitris, hopefully that you sort your fever out as soon as possible as well. But yeah, just like Trav said, you are a champion. Do not take too much of your time here. Just a little bit of an intro about myself. So for those of you that do not know, I am Rainlands. What I do, well, essentially the voice behind Gempad. So, just hosting AMAs for projects, a little bit of marketing. And today I might be a little bit rusty because usually I'm on the other side of the microphone, right? But yeah, regardless of that, just to go through, let's say, a little bit of introduction regarding what we're offering here. So we are, just like Jared and their Launchpad, we are a multi-chain decentralized Launchpad here. We've been in the space for, well, if we're not, of course, counting all the development time and whatnot, a little bit under 3 years now. So, yeah, proven track record as well. A little bit over 5,000 projects so far hosted for the sale. So we are beyond excited to be, of course, hosting your second token, TCT. I did have a chance to go through a little bit what you're offering with this new token of yours. So, of course, super excited to be hearing more about utilities, the governance side of things. And thank you very much. Hopefully I didn't take too much of your time here. Excited.
Oh no. Okay, now, Rainlands, there's a couple things I need to highlight about you, my friend. First of all, that voice, silky smooth. And that is the highest host compliment from one host to another here. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for bringing that energy. And wow, so you're going to have to reiterate that number for me. How many projects have you guys successfully launched? How many thousands? Say that one more time.
Over 5,000. And I do need to take a moment of your time to say thank you very much for the compliment here. Right back at you. And yeah, it just truly means the world to me that, the thing that I love to do, that it also shows on the other side. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, it absolutely does, my friend. Absolutely does. Excellent. And of course, finally, friends, I want to take a moment and I want to thank all of our viewers here with us. We've been speaking for less than 5 minutes and we already have 70 plus viewers in this stream right now. So thanks to each and every single one of you for joining us today. This is going to be a phenomenal conversation. I'm really excited to have it. And if I can ask you guys, if you can take a moment, if you can share this post on X, because most of you are from X right now. Of course, we are streaming to multiple other platforms as we speak. So a huge welcome to all of you as well. If you guys can take a moment to interact with this live stream, let's send this message to as many people as we can together, not just me. because the message we're about to share, the alpha we're about to share, is for you guys. And I think that's a great segue maybe to send the mic to you there, Dimitri. Maybe you can introduce the TCT token for us and let us know why we're having this conversation in the first place here. So if that sounds good, it is all yours.
Apologies. Yeah, absolutely, Trav. So Tectum is launching second token. And obviously people are often skeptical about, why launch the second token, maybe fix the price of the first token, etc., etc. But what's important is that TCT have a totally different meaning to TED. TED remains the gas fee. TED has been developed as a gas fee. And obviously, as you know, it's a crypto space. It's, practically impossible to change the smart contract of the initial TED. And this is why we designed the second token, the TCT, community token, something that will allow users to have a voice. First of all, even if you're not well, you can still vote with the TCT. Second thing, we'll enable the profit sharing with our EPOS system. So each EPOS will take 1% of each transaction whenever the merchant is trying to get his funds back onto his wallet. So from that 1%, 20%, which is 1/5, will be moved directly into the TCT holders. So this is that was one of our initial ideas of developing the TCT token, truly community token. It may abbreviate as the Tectum cash token. Well, in reality, it's called the Tectum community token, which sounds way better than that. So please, guys, do ask questions and feel free to criticize if you need to. We are always here and welcome to answer every question.
Of course, and that is first of all, let me drop you one of these here, my friend. Yes, this is this is meant to be an interactive conversation. This is an AMA. So if you guys do have questions, we are able to see those live for the most part. Not all of them come through. So apologies if we don't get back to your question here, but feel free to engage with the live stream itself. Post your question. Not only will we try our best to answer that question, but we'll give you a shout out, just like these absolute legends here who have been reposting this stream here. So Dimitri, thank you very much here. A lot of strong points that I'd love to actually kind of get to here about this. But one thing I want to start off the conversation by saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, Jared and Rainlands, you guys were involved with the initial TET launch. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Perfect. So you guys, this is not a brand new partnership. We've connected with each other before. So maybe just to start this conversation, I'll ask your perspective so far on, your perspective on maybe let's take a massive step back here and let's just talk about actually what it takes to launch a successful token here. So maybe from your guys' opinions, what does differentiate a strong from a weak performing token launch? And whichever of you gentlemen would like to start here first, just have at her. Actually, this is one final point before we dive in here that I really want to make. Jared, you mentioned that you wish we had emojis. One thing that I like to encourage in our conversations on these live streams here is that, feel free to keep your mute button off. If you want to just make a live verbal reaction, that's also awesome. So let's just jump right into it, gentlemen.
Yeah, I can go first. Unfortunately, we did not have the privilege of working with Tectum with the first token, but hey, I'm glad that we were able to come back and have a second opportunity at this. So I don't think that there is a set way of doing things. Different projects are run differently. Of course, we've seen a lot of success from projects that do things in different ways. Everybody likes to highlight the success of, let's say, for example, Hyperliquid, which did not do a VC raise, but instead gave most of the tokens to the community, which is why I like the focus of TCT on the community and the profit sharing aspect of it, because what is powering Hyperliquid? What do people talk a lot about? Which is the revenue and then the sharing, profit sharing that's going back to the community. And so, yeah, I think in Web3, like there is a very flat hierarchy, and I like that founders are always looking out for the people who support them, the people who believe them, and the people who are holding their tokens. And so when I hear that there is profit sharing coming back to the TCT token, that is just wonderful to hear.
100%. I like how you said that, Jared, excuse me, about the flat hierarchy. That just put such a nice visual in my brain, especially when we're having that conversation of centralization versus decentralization. And of course, when it comes to Tectum, and I know you two gentlemen as well, all of our products are being created in a decentralized manner here. So thank you for creating that visual in my brain here. That's a really helpful way to look at it. And of course, something that we're very proud to be able to produce and share with the rest of our community here. So Rainlands, yeah, any thoughts from your end on what it takes to launch a successful token versus one that may not be as successful?
Oh, absolutely. Now, first and foremost, I just want to say, Jared, I truly appreciate how you approach things today and all the input that you provided here, because I 100% would agree with you. Now, as far as, let's say, what differentiates a good project, well, a good launch of a token as opposed to, let's say, what would be classified a bad one, it is very hard to say, because at the end of the day, we're talking about projects that might not even be different. Different utilities, one might not even have a utility, let's say a standard meme coin, all depends. And throughout that, as you have different types of projects, obviously you're catering to different types of crowd at the end of the day, right? So if we're talking about credible projects such as yourselves that do have a bunch of utilities, obviously, as we did have a chance also touching upon the revenue share, which is incentives for token holders and supporters. This is something that I'm truly a fan of, and I think it makes perfect sense at the end of the day if you were to approach this with another token that you just incorporate it in the ecosystem perfectly, just so everything makes sense, right? So throughout that, it definitely shows that you guys are playing your cards right. If we're talking about, once again, credible projects with a lot of utilities, proven track record from you guys. You have quite a lot of supporters, quite a lot of users, at the end of the day, because you are bringing utilities to the table here. And of course, throughout that, let's say the launch of your first token, it basically spoke for itself as well. Quite an amazing return for all the investors for the pre-sale here, which, just at the end of the day, just speaks wonders, if you ask me. And yeah, if we're talking about different types of projects, there's obviously different types of needs. If we're talking about, let's say, just meme coins, a lot of, let's say, investors tend to just look for the ones that might not raise a lot, let's say a micro cap, maybe just a low market cap to start it off, just so you can get potentially, bigger returns, let's say, for degens, and for credible projects. At the end of the day, if you're approaching things how you should be, so naturally, as we spoke with revenue share programs, incentives, marketing activities, and whatnot, everything's going to be okay, right?
Love that. I really appreciate that kind of multifactorial. It's not just about the launch, but everything around it as well. You're talking about the marketing, which will happen pre-launch or even during launch. You'll talk about, you spoke about kind of setting that utility foundation to make sure that there's an actual product and reputation built behind the actual token as well here. And I just love that kind of that holistic approach to actually, it's not just about a token launch. Anyone can launch a token. It's about everything around it as well. And I really appreciate that perspective that you're bringing to the table here, my friend here. So maybe before we move on to our next question, Dimitri, let me kind of pick your brain. I'd love to kind of hear your reaction to kind of where we're landing now with, what it takes to launch a successful token, and maybe let us know, how that fits in with what's going on with TCT.
Yes, Trav, absolutely. That's a great question. First of all, I would say that when we were apologies. When we were launching TED a few years ago, practically we had no ecosystem. We had to develop the gas, which became TED. Then we had to develop a wallet. Then we had to develop additional products for the company. Right now, we have a fully functioning ecosystem. So this is one thing. Second thing is that TCT is aimed at the users directly. It's not a gas, it's a community token. So users will be able to vote with that token. And moreover, as we are launching our EPOS terminals, so basically merchants will be able to accept any crypto that you have in a wallet, and it will be going straight into their either wallets or whatever they prefer. So we introduced revenue sharing, and obviously we also understood that whenever you're launching a second token, it can be quite risky. So therefore, we also introducing the staking program for TED, which means that users will be able to stake the TEDs for either the I believe, Trav, it was either 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, and based on that, they'll be able to gain TCT as a reward. So, for example, let's say you hold TEDs, right? You see the company is launching TCT as a second token, so you obviously become kind of questionable in a sense of why they launch the second token. It's quite normal. It happens in crypto space. But then you see the option not to sell it straight away. You see the option to stake it. And once you stake that TED, logically enough, it comes away. It gets off its utility value. So because you staked it somewhere, therefore it's not in the market. So let's say you staked it for 6 months, for example. In 6 months, you are approximately be able to earn up to 20% from the staking, as well as that within those 6 months, you have a chance to earn TCTs. And whoever earns TCTs, let me remind you, and the community, they're also eligible for the revenue sharing from EPOS system. And obviously, apart from the EPOS system, we're developing quite a few new products, including the unique cold pay system, which is basically the offline crypto payments. Now, it may not make much sense for the crypto users, especially for people that never heard of our projects. But basically, in your phone, you have a thing called inaccessible libraries, right? And using those inaccessible libraries, you're able to record crypto transactions, even when you're offline in the airplane mode or have no network connection whatsoever. And so once you record the crypto transaction, you practically made a payment. And once the internet comes back on, the payment is brought back to the chain. As well as that inaccessible library does not allow any duplicates whatsoever. So this is the system that we call cold pay, and something we are striving towards at least within the next few months.
Oh yeah, no, cold pay itself is absolutely phenomenal. I know we've spoken about this on our last stream here, where, just to reiterate, you can have zero Wi-Fi, zero signal, and still make crypto transactions simply using the Bluetooth BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy, as the means of transfer, which is absolutely incredible here. No, Dimitri, thank you so much for sharing that. And just to kind of add a little bit of some meat to the potatoes here, when we're talking about the staking components, like you said, it's 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months options, where if we're looking at supply and demand here, we're taking that supply out of circulation essentially because it's being locked up. But not only that, there's huge incentive to do that, because even if you're locking it up for 3 months, you get that 15% return all the way up to 25% if you're locking it up for 12 months. So huge incentive here. And I love as well that revenue share component as well, because there's only one fee when it comes to the fees that are made with the EPOS terminal. There's only a 1% fee, and it's for the merchant side only. And of that 1%, 20% will go directly back to the community here. And that's simply just for holding the TCT token here. So really just wanted to make sure that we highlighted those. And I really do appreciate you sharing that here with our community. So let's keep this conversation going forward. So one of the points that you mentioned here, Rainlands, is the idea of marketing. Maybe I'll pass the mic to you guys. Maybe I'll start with you, Rainlands, just because you brought up that idea. Maybe could you guys talk to us a little bit about kind of the marketing that you guys put forward when it comes to launching tokens on your platforms?
Absolutely, no problem at all. Now, first and foremost, I did just want to take a moment of your time to comment specifically on the staking pools that you were just saying about. What I like here is the fact that, you have a bunch of projects that, let's say, release a staking pool just for the sake of having one, right? But in your case, you at least realize that you have, let's say, different types of investors. Naturally, you have ones that would perhaps like to lock their tokens up for a, let's say, shorter duration. And one of those are just, the supporters that know that they're not going to do anything with even one token, and they're just going to be locking them up for a longer period of time, which makes perfect sense, to have free pools to make things a little bit more flexible here. So just wanted to give you guys props for that as well. And yeah, as we were talking about marketing here, so usually the thing is, if we're speaking about, the centralized Launchpad specifically here, obviously speaking, a lot of projects do tend to go for that option because, not only the proven track record, not only the fact that you can make your launch safer than it was, let's say, otherwise, but specifically regarding the exposure as well. Obviously speaking, you guys are already established. You have quite a large following here. But if we're talking about projects that, I don't know, just let's say started out and they truly want to do something amazing, not only with the launch, but also something to, let's say, give back to the community, their supporters, obviously speaking, you would like to do what's best for the entire project, not only the token here, right? And as we're talking about this, the best way to approach this is, of course, use a Launchpad that offers all types of exposure plans here. So naturally speaking, we always do like to stress the fact that it should be done with both internal, so in this case what we're offering, internal exposure, internal marketing activities, as well as external. So, let's say partnering up with some KOLs, maybe just scheduling some expos, all depends on the platform that you would like to focus on. Now, specifically regarding our internal marketing, what we figured makes the most sense, and this is something that we also did tweak along the way, because as we all know, Web3 advertising and, well, Web3 in general is something that you tend to adapt every step along the way, right? So things can be completely different tomorrow, a week after, So obviously speaking, we also like to, let's say, expand our horizons as far as platforms go. So obviously at the start of it all, we were mainly focusing towards, let's say, Telegram and the X side of things. But now, as everything is progressing, we also do tend to provide some additional exposure plans regarding, let's say, Mirror is one of those, which is more so planned for, let's say, articles, more so than just, let's say, promotional posts, which tend to be a little bit on the shorter side. Binance also has an amazing feature where you can not only host AMAs on Binance Live, but also, I think that they rebranded it to Binance Square now. It was called Feeds a while back, where you can also use it for just like, let's say, exposure plans for Telegram, X with those posts, articles, and all those platforms, everything that people, investors, project owners tend to use, we like to have our presence there as well, just so we can cover the majority of the ground, right?
No, I really appreciate that perspective here. It's so easy to get caught up in this ecosystem of just X or just YouTube. Being able to branch off and have more substantial, marketing campaigns where you're actually giving more substantial, thought out information to potential holders and potential investors, I think is a brilliant way to do this. Plus, you're also kind of creating that evergreen content as well, and you're helping to establish that reputation by just being more thorough. I personally fully believe that, having that thorough mentality it's always an amazing way to go here. So Rainlands, really appreciate that here. Now, Jared, I'll ask you the same question here. And then we've got a couple of questions coming in from the audience. I'd love to take a quick moment and pivot to that here. But before I do, Jared, please, I'd love to hear your thoughts on where we're at right now.
Yeah. I think when it comes to marketing, right, you can have, like, let's say the world's best donut, right? And if people don't know about it, is it still the world's best donut? You want to get the word out there. You want to spread it out there so that more people can know about this amazing product that we've built, that Tectum's built. And that's what marketing is all about. And so Eesee.io, we are a launchpad. And so our marketing efforts are mainly focused on people who are interested in participating in IDOs, because there are many types of crypto users out there, and you want to be targeted. You want to make sure that your effort is going where it makes the biggest bang, biggest impact. And so we do have a network of investors, whales, and KOL communities who are mainly interested in participating in IDOs. Which is why our IDOs, when they go to public, they tend to go very quickly, because there are people who may not want to stake Eesee tokens, but they want to participate in IDOs. So if anybody is wanting to get the TCT token on Eesee, and you're thinking, yeah, I could just sleep on it, no, man, you got to get in on the first minute, because I have myself, like, once I spend my allocation and I want to get some more, sometimes I can't, because there's just like hundreds of other people fighting with me for whatever is left. And so, guys, if you are buying the TCT token, make sure that you don't sleep on it. Make sure that you're ready to go in the first second itself. Otherwise, well, you'll be sleeping on a life-changing opportunity. And so we also have community campaigns where we build earning momentum for the projects that we're launching, and also when it comes closer to TGE, we do help with boosting, so that people are aware of what's happening and with our KOLs to push to give the TG event as well as whatever that the team is building next the highest possible chance for exposure and the highest possible chance for success. And so marketing is very important, right? We're all building amazing products here in Web3, and we just want to as many people in the world to know about it as possible.
Awesome. Okay, I'm starting to like create a picture in my mind here about the strategy that's been coming together when it comes to having both partnerships with you guys at Eesee and then you guys at Gempad. Is that, you know, I see how you guys are kind of going about this in subtly different ways, but I can also see how they complement each other so beautifully. Like Jared, I really appreciate that you guys have that network of whales that are looking to invest in solid TGEs just the fact that is something that you are building through kind of your journey over the last year is huge. And I think for projects like ourselves, where we're really just trying to show the world that we've got the world's most delicious donut, that is going to help us out like crazy. So thank you, man. Thank you so much for that. So Dimitri, I need your help here. We've got a couple questions that have lined up. What do you think about just trying to answer 3 questions in a bullet point fashion? How does that sound to you?
Easy.
Let's do it. First of all, this one I actually have a answer for, but I'd love to hear your voice a little bit more in my ear. So what is the max supply of TCT?
200 mil.
200 million. Great answer. And their guess was 10 billion. But I like the sound of 200 mil a lot more. So quite a bit more scarce. There's not a lot of projects that have sub-billion total supply of tokens here. So just a huge shout out to Tectum for making that decision here. Second question, when do you think we'll have the chance to get our first impact as community while holding TCT in regards to voting, project features, etc.?
Well, first of all, it's a great question because it's important for users that whenever they see the token, a utility token in that case, they want to know the exact timeline when it can be used as the utility. So for that question, I would say that according to a roadmap that can also be found on the tectum.io/Tectum Cash token, the soonest users will be able to get access to the DAO voting, to the all the proposed features around the first quarter of next year. I understand it may sound like quite some time from a Launchpad launch and then the success and exits, but then all of that was simply made to balance out the tokenomics. Because one thing is that whenever you launch those features straight away after the Launchpads, after the success and exits, right, you don't know how much the token is going to cost. You don't know the correct approach to that position. So that's why we are giving it around a month, maybe 2 months, to kind of stabilize on the TCT price, to stabilize the number of users that manage to buy it. Because, as I just said, people who heard of the TCT, at least for now, are more likely our existing community. And this is why we're using the Launchpads, we'll be using the success indexes. We want to expand the user base. And so it will take quite some time, sadly, to get users acquainted with the TCT token. But then you see, Raf, it is basically made to balance out the whole scale in a sense of who's holding the token, who's the whale, who's not a whale. Because simply the reason why we launched these TCT is because people who often hold TET or any other utility token, they're basically whales, and they're not engaged, they're not looking to use their tokens for that use case.
Looking to have an impact.
Yes. So shortly speaking, the voting project features, etc., is looking to be in the first quarter of next year. So which is around how many, 2 months away?
Yeah, which really in the grand scheme of things, I mean, in crypto is a while, but when we're looking at your day-to-day, that's going to go by in the blink of an eye. I really do appreciate that answer there, Dimitri. And once again, you're showing how you're putting community first, especially when it comes to the launch of TCT. And I hope that goes to, I hope that I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize. TM. Let's go with that here. I know you've been a huge contributor to our community here. I believe this gentleman, or I don't want to assume here, but I believe this individual launched the first token on
meme token on the
first
testnet.
meme token on the
Correct.
testnet, which is amazing. So huge shout out. Thank you for being one of the core contributors to our ecosystem here. And this token is being launched specifically for people like you. So thank you so much for your question. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Last question here, and we are not ones to shy away from challenging questions here. This one is from Chopped Pineapple. I've definitely seen this awesome PFP in different conversations that we've had over the past year, Dimitri. And the question is it wise to launch a new token when the main token, Tectum, remains unfinished? What do you think there, Dimitri?
Well, I would say that's a great question because, well, first of all, it actually puts our reputation at stake whenever we launch the second token, right? It also questions how much we achieved with the first token, the TED. And to put it simply, TED is a fully functional token. TED is the gas fee of our entire ecosystem. It is a gas fee for the EPOS, even though the EPOS still needs better test, but TED is already there. TED is the gas for our soft node wallet. TED will be the gas of our mainnet. So whenever there's a claim that Tectum, the TED, isn't finished, I do understand that concern because, well, if you look at the amount of transactions on our wallet, on our chain, it's not many. Right, so this is why it may raise some concern for the users, and that's completely understandable. But then you see, at the same time, this is the exact reason why we launching the EPOS, why we launching the TCT. We're trying to make it work, right? We're trying to drive our ecosystem to actually start producing transactions, to start producing money for users in the first place, and then for us.
So I'm hearing that it's still very early, and now could be a good time, no financial advice, to start looking into these tokens, and maybe you'll realize that your time is now. But let's continue. Let's continue because that was very, very close to financial advice, and that absolutely was not that. Really appreciate that solid answer there, Dimitri. And just to kind of reiterate, is the token is complete. It is finished. We are now just trying to create more scenarios where it will be used. And I think that's really important here, especially when we're talking about things like revenue share, especially when we're talking about all the different products that we are now having in development that are being put into the market, that are actually being used by people now. It's a very, very exciting time. And I really appreciate your question there, Chopped Pineapple. Hopefully that answered here for you. Real quick, we got a good absolutely from Sa. You're a legend. Really appreciate you. And right back at you there, Chopped Pineapple. Really appreciate you guys. You always asking us the hard questions here. And yeah, just that really means a lot to us. Thank you so much here. So let's keep the conversation going here. Rainlands, Jared, I missed your voices in my ears. So I have another question here for you that I'd love to ask you.
I just wanna comment on
Please.
you know, like having such a stellar community. It's very rare to find like community members who like, you know, just build and then stick around, you know, after the token has launched for a while, after project has gone for a while. This testnet user who launched the first meme coin there is still around and is still contributing, still asking questions, still supporting. That's just beautiful to see. So shout out to I don't know how to say that name.
To the user.
To the user.
I posted their PFP on the screen here so everyone can see them. They're always participating, always engaging. Huge shout out. And it's been a long, hard journey. You know, there's no way around it. Tectum has been building for a very long time. There's highs and lows, but the point is that they've been relentlessly pursuing that end goal, which is to make a difference in the world and bring crypto to the streets. And I really do appreciate seeing in legends like Chopped Pineapple and Sa. That's what I'm going with for now until you prove me wrong. You know, you guys have been sticking with us, and that means the world because we wouldn't be anything here without you guys. So yeah, I really appreciate you highlighting that, Jared. And I agree that I know personally here. That's why I come back to crypto every single day is the community, people who are truly passionate about it, people who are truly passionate about making a difference in the world. And that's why crypto was made to begin with. So yeah, I'm feeling the good vibes now.
Yeah. And
guys,
I believe that the TCT is made exactly for loyal, supportive, and hardworking community members like Sa and Pineapple.
100%. And I have to take a moment, guys, and just mention something that I just observed, and that is quite magical. From this part of the conversation, in 30 seconds of talking about how important and how awesome community is, our viewers jumped from 400 to 652. We have over 650 people hanging out with us right now. Thank you guys for being so much. Thank you for showing us that community and valuing community is something that you guys appreciate here. So let's just keep this conversation going. I got a really fun question locked and loaded here for you guys. Maybe Rainlands, I'll start off with you because I definitely miss your voice here as well here. And I want to ask you about the most memorable project that you've helped launch and how was their marketing strategy different than others, if anything comes to mind?
Of course. Now I am on the hot seat here. All right. So, coincidentally, and this is, I promise you that we're not just speaking about this, considering that it's going to be Tectum, one of those. I promise you that it's not just because we're having a conversation here with you guys. And of course, the second token approaching the launch as well. But yeah, one of the raises that was very, very memorable was in fact Tectum's first token. Why? Because the raise has been absolutely phenomenal. So we are talking about, it was a fair launch, something that we should also note, with the soft cap being set of only, I believe it was for 10 Ethereum. And in the end, it raised, I think, around 256, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, the numbers, they speak for themselves at the end of the day. And it was definitely something that, momentum was always there. Even as soon as the fair launch started, because usually in fair launches, it's, people just waiting for the last moment to see how the market cap is going to be looking like. But yeah, in this case, momentum was always going strong. So, naturally just goes to show, as we were talking about the community, just like you mentioned, Trav and Jared as well. Yeah, if you have loyal supporters, things are just, through the roof, off the charts here. And definitely one of those memorable raises, because we, of course, were very, very happy to be supporting the launch of the first token here. And just the not only the fair launch being well, but also the return, something that I know that I already mentioned here on the discussion today, but it was also phenomenal for the ones that did decide to contribute to the fair launch here. So yeah, one of those memorable moments. And considering that, as we did mention, the second, so TCT token is going to be approaching as far as the sale goes, and then later on launch as well. It's going to be phenomenal as well. I can already see it, and I'm super, super excited for it as well.
Oh man, that energy, so contagious here. Sorry, Dimitri, I'm not sure if I just saw that wrong. Were you looking to jump in there for a sec?
No, I was just coughing and trying not to die.
Okay, trying not to die. how's your fever feeling, real quick? How's that going for you?
It's been alright. I would say as hot as the launch of the TCT.
Heck yes, I love it. Metaphors coming left, right, and center. Rainlands, I love that was your answer, and I love that was not prompted, that was not scripted, that was nothing. That was pure instinct that you decided to share.
Sorry for cutting you off. I should put in a huge emphasis on this, actually, that I am not a fan of scripted AMA, scripted anything. So I don't even have notes prepared. So it was definitely something for the top of my head here. So yeah, just, it's how conversations at the end of the day should be. Even if it's a question that you're not, let's say prepared at the end of the day, you're just going to have the most natural, down to earth response that you can get at, let's say, the given moment here. So yeah.
Love that. Rainlands, thank you so much. The audience loved it as well. We jumped up to almost 1,400 viewers during your take. So friends, thank you guys all so much for joining us here last minute. My name is Trav. We've got Dimitri we are both from Tectum, and then we've got Rainlands from Gempad. We've got Jared from Eesee, and right now we're talking about what it takes to launch a successful token on their launch pads. And then we're also talking about the TCT launch a little bit here and how it fits into all that, and really just trying to emphasize that this token is for you guys. And you can feel free to check out the Tectum website at tectum.io. You can see the full breakdown. You can see all the tokenomics. You can see all the baked in utilities. It's awesome. And let's just keep this conversation going. Jared, I miss you. So I'm going to ask that same question over to you. Can you tell us a little bit about one of the more memorable token launches that you've had? And, tell us a little bit about how their marketing strategy was different from others.
You know what? This question is kind of like asking a mother, like, which child is your favorite? It's always a tricky one to answer. And so I'll say that my favorite projects and the ones that I've seen do better, do well, are the projects that have cooked first before they launch their token. So they already have a platform, or they already have a product. It's working already. There are users, and people can see what they are buying into. And I think that the TCT token is exactly that. You know, you have a functioning blockchain with like several tens of thousands of wallets created and people using the platform. And so, yeah, people can see that they're buying into something that has function, that has a platform, that has a protocol that's running already. And that's what I love to see.
Awesome. I love it. I love how the emphasis is going into, what's behind the token here. And I appreciate that that's your answer. And that gives me hope that, to really have that successful launch, it takes far more than hype being generated for the launch. It's, what's going to happen in the years following the launch here. So yeah, no, I really appreciate that answer here. And makes me even more excited and gives me that conviction that the community is going to know. The community will see that the hard work is being put in there, and the fact that this is truly a launch for them here. So let's keep this conversation going. First of all, Dimitri, I'm curious to kind of pick your brain now that we've spoken about gotten these two incredible answers here about how the most successful token launches have really differentiated themselves and what contributed to their success. How does that relate to what's happening right now with Tectum?
Well, thank you, Charles. That's a great question. I'd love to come back to the point that Jared made around 20 minutes ago about how you might have the most amazing donut. But if people don't know about it, it's not the most amazing, right? Because the object is within itself, if we are talking about philosophy, right? So when we were launching TED, we obviously tried to create hype, right? And you should understand that our team was not quite Web3 familiar. We functioned as the Web2 company. We thought that if we have the amazing product, people will learn about us. Okay, so people did learn about us, people did learn about the TED token and did learn about the wallet. But one thing we definitely missed out back then was the direct communication with the community. So this is why we have TCT here, right? We're making those AMAs. We're telling people about the TCT. We're not trying to sell them anything, right? In fact, we are just answering questions. We're telling them that TCT is the second token, of course, but then TCT is much more than just another utility token that will be able, that will offer people the opportunity to, for example, create gas fees, as it is with TED. TCT is direct community token. TCT is something that will allow users to directly participate in our ecosystem. So if someone, for example, holds TED, right, they get the gas fee commission, as well as if they hold TCT, they also get that 20% of that 1% generated through the EPOS terminals. And I know that I spoke quite a few bits about the EPOS, and it obviously probably raises questions about the EPOS itself. Why should the merchants use it, right? And I would say that the way it is right now with crypto is not really usable, right? Crypto is seen as a stock, as an investment, and it doesn't matter which coin you're holding, right? It doesn't matter if you're holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, or it can be, I don't know, TED or let's say Volt, right? One of our partners. You're not able to spend it. You're not able to pay with it anywhere. And this is why we're introducing EPOS system that is directly tied with our wallet, right? EPOS will allow users to buy coffee, hot dog, any type of commodity, just as far as you have a mobile phone. You don't need to pay for different terminals, like physical, those physical machine strap, right? That you have to rent for like a month and pay $150 just for, each month. So EPOS can be installed on your mobile phone. EPOS can be transacted, if this is the right word, all across the world. As you remember the AMA we did, right? You sat there in Canada, I'm here in Czech Republic, and we managed to make an EPOS transaction all the way through, just the screen.
Yes.
Just the screen. And obviously, but definitely the first EPOS is the commission. So as we kept on saying that users, they do not pay any commission, that's correct. Merchant does. And he only pays that commission only whenever he's trying to withdraw that money back into his personal wallet. So as far as he keeps all his money on the EPOS terminal, he's not paying anything. And if we were to compare commission, it is 1% from each transaction. So compared to Visa, MasterCard commissions of 2 and 3% accordingly, it may not sound like a lot of a difference, right? But then if you put it into a perspective of hugely of huge transaction amounts, it is a lot. It is double the more, triple the more. It is a huge difference, a huge gap. And then you add on that, physical terminal rental that you often have to do. It just stacks on itself. And the physical EPOS terminals that we see right now, first of all, they do not support crypto. And second of all, they're forcing people to pay even if they're not generating any profit or revenue whatsoever. So this is why I honestly believe, Trav, that we'll be able to change at least one area of crypto. And that hopefully, hopefully it will be the PayFi solutions.
100%. I really appreciate that you highlighted that. And one thing that you did mention that I really just want to highlight specifically about the EPOS is comparing and contrasting our EPOS terminal compared to the status quo. The fees that merchants have to pay for like a credit card transaction on a traditional Web 2 EPOS is astronomical. So there's so many places locally in Canada, rather, where if you pay cash, you will pay. They give you massive discounts because of how much they are charged for making these credit card transactions happen. And now, if we're bringing the conversation way back, when we're talking about Satoshi Nakamoto's initial vision for Bitcoin, this is something that we've been building towards the entire. Let's see here. Actually, we got an awesome comment that really touches on this, showing that Tectum has been around for 5+ years. This entire time, we've been building towards fulfilling the vision of Satoshi Nakamoto, which is to make Bitcoin usable as an actual currency, to help make crypto and finances and liquidity actually available to anyone, anywhere, no matter what your socioeconomic status is, no matter how much you have in your bank or in your portfolio. This is money that you can use right now, and it needs to be free and instant, which is exactly what we are doing here. So huge incentive for consumers to use it, because like you said, on our live stream, we did have a transaction that happened in the blink of an eye from one continent to the other, and almost, I don't know, I'll have to do the math here, but maybe almost the perfect opposite end of the world. And then also for the merchant side, having only that 1% fee that's only charged when they're withdrawing from their accounts into their actual, bank accounts, I think is game changing, absolutely game changing here. So apologies for taking that side tangent here. Really appreciate you sharing that answer here. And we are almost at the top of the hour here, guys. And I'd like to kind of ask one more question here, if you guys have the time here. Actually, let me quickly, just respectfully ask you guys, Jared, Rainlands, how is your time looking? Do you have time for one more question?
Bring it on, brother.
All the time in the world. Let's do this.
Love it. Let's go here. So this is actually one that kind of came to my mind here as we're talking here. This is talking about over time. How have you noticed the maturity of the end user, the actual investor in the crypto world? And kind of what I'm visualizing in my brain is, I know initially people would buy in on hype, but have you noticed that change over time? Has the end user become a bit more mature? Are people, putting more effort into due diligence and really like digging into the project that they're hoping to invest in? Or what are your thoughts? Am I completely off base? Is it something completely different?
Jared, if you don't mind, I can take it first, if it's okay.
Go ahead.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you very much. So this is also one of those kind of hard questions to explain, at least, because there's let's say a portion of users that do tend to mature over time. But then you also have, as we were mentioning, all types of, projects. You obviously also have all types of investors here. So if we're talking about an individual that's going to be a degen, he's probably never going to change, right? So he's probably just going to go where the hype is at the end of the day. So even if he doesn't do a lot of, let's say, a research and tends to just, look for utilities, or maybe if he's digging the utilities, products, the project in general, maybe he's just going to go for hype and see, okay, maybe I can make some money off of this. But yeah, you also, at the end of the day, it's not only degens, but you also have users that, maybe at the start of the crypto journey, because we all know that if you just decide to start it off today, it's going to be such a hassle for you to even understand the basics, how to even set up a wallet. Let's say you want to set up a MetaMask. You probably can get a little bit overwhelmed with that already. And then even, what is the credible choice to even start investing on? Maybe you want to do it on a DEX, maybe investing into pre-sales, private sales, all of that nature. it's already a process, right? So if we're talking about users that just started off, their, let's say, experiences or how they're investing, it could be at the start that they appear to be degens because they just don't have the knowledge to do so. But throughout time, they of course are going to be a little bit more mature. They're going to see how, let's say, the tokenomics are looking like, just to see how much of the supply is going to be locked up, all the factors that people tend to look for that have been in the space for, let's say, a little bit longer than your average investors that are just starting off. And for that, you obviously just see the utilities and how this impacts, let's say, real world businesses, how they impact yourself if you would like to use this as well. So yeah, all depends, but definitely a portion of investors, I would say, also mature throughout time.
Love that. I love that. And that's actually, the reason I asked that question here is I just wanted to highlight our community here. I cannot believe this. This is the most successful live stream that I've ever hosted. We have just crossed 4,500 viewers. And I love your answer because it shows that, it highlights the importance of kind of maturing and actually putting a bit of effort into the projects you are looking to invest. But yeah, over time, someone can start as a degen and end off as a very successful investor here. So yeah, really appreciate that, Rainlands. Jared, any further thoughts on that?
I think there is in marketing, there's something called touch points. For human beings, no matter how sophisticated we think we are, we still have something that beats in our chests. It's heart, it's emotion. And no matter how cerebral we want to think we are, or like no matter how technical we are, we're not robots. And so we will get influenced, we will get affected, especially by KOLs that we trust or we look up to. And so in marketing, there's something called touch points, which is why KOL campaigns work, because people see something once and they're like, okay. People see something twice, okay. It takes maybe up to 5 or 13 touch points before people start to think, maybe this is an opportunity. And so it takes a campaign, it takes coordination, it takes a game plan, and so I think that people are more informed nowadays because of all the past experiences that we've experienced as an industry, a very young industry. But then again, human beings are still very much affected by hype, very much affected by influence, unless the AI revolution takes over and we all transact through AI agents, and then we have to figure out a way to manipulate these AI agents. But yeah, human beings still trade according to emotions, and there's nothing that we can do to change that.
I want to add on something to Jared, if you don't mind me, Trav.
Please go for it.
I've been spectating crypto for the past year. I've been trying to understand it in the whole crypto space. You see all those complicated, graphs up and downs, all those market caps, all those CMC posts, which include FUD, which include the project itself. And as Jared said, for a new user, it can be quite difficult, right? Because first of all, they see people that made money, right? They see people that made millions out of it, of just investing into, I don't know, Doge, whatever it's called, coin, right? At the same time, they see people that lost money. We can remember the Trump coin that has practically sucked out all the liquidity out of the market. And so that's why for new people, it can be, and well, in my opinion, should be quite difficult. And this is, I would say, the gap that every Launchpad fills in. As far as you have a reputable Launchpad, as far as you see a track record of successful projects that didn't just launch the token itself, but projects that still function, projects that still running, right? Let's say you open Gempad from 3 years ago. They see the TED token that has been successfully launched. They open Tectum. They say, hey, we're still running. We didn't close in a month, in 6 months. So we are still running. It means that this Launchpad, it can be reputable, so that gives them reputation. Same goes for Eesee. You see all those great projects that covered a lot of money. All of them are still running. And that, I would say, is the indicator of a good Launchpad. Unfortunately, the Kommunitas couldn't join today, and I quite often open the Kommunitas myself and see various of different projects, not just gas token projects, but rather AI projects, different marketing projects, influences, that kind of stuff. I see those projects, and it's not that I want to start investing into them because I want to start making money with them. That can be an option, of course. But I want to start researching about them, and I believe this is the exact purpose that launchpads have, is to raise interest. Yes, you can buy, and well, not a financial advice, you should buy, but it is definitely something that highlights the project, something that ideally should bring physical users to the project, something that Tectum might lack for now, but you never know how it's going to be in 6 months or 5 years. As for example, we've been running for 5+ years, and even back then we didn't have a token, we were still running. So this is something I would say launchpads are made for, is to have a reputation of someone that actually promotes reputable projects. And I would say this is the main marketing point of those launchpads. And I'd love to thank both of the launchpads for actually being very open and much more than just helpful for us to get IDO with you guys. Honestly, as someone who didn't come from the crypto space, I didn't expect that much of support, but you guys, you've been, well, nothing but amazing, really.
100%. I gotta say, I gotta jump in here real quick here, Dimitri. I really appreciate that you brought that up, because that is such an important part of the process of launching a successful token, is partnering with launchpads that are actually reputable, that have a track record of success, that have have those numbers that show that they typically launch successful projects that are here for the long run. So huge shout out to you, Renlands. Huge shout out to you, Jared, from both Eesee and Gempad here. Thank you guys so much for being a part of our journey here at Tectum, and for helping so many stellar projects, really get started and hit the ground running in terms of building in a way that is going to help change the world here. Renlands, I haven't heard your voice in a little bit here, so I'm going to send the mic over to you here first. I'd love to hear your reaction to that.
I just wanted to say thank you very much, and the pleasure is all ours, because at the end of the day, it's not just something, that, let's say, one project should be thanking another project. I'm just going to explain it like this. But at the end of the day, it's mutual benefits, mutual partnerships, and it is exactly how things should be run in Web3. Well, not only Web3, Web2, anything really, it should be mutually beneficial, and at the end of the day, something that all of us can be proud of, right?
Love that. We are building together, we are not competing. There's another word that I'm looking for. That's gone. Never mind.
Synergizing.
Here we go.
Yes, synergizing. Exactly. Sure.
Oh goodness. Well, I'm going to take my foot out of my mouth here for a second. But I love that we got there. Guys, we have kind of we're not even plateaued. We're still growing. The users are still, or the viewers are still piling in here. We are at over 5,000 viewers. I cannot even believe it here. Have to take a moment and thank you guys so much for being a part of this conversation. Truly appreciate that you find value in what we're talking about today. The fact that if you put community first, people are going to be interested. People are going to see that, and people are going to appreciate it. So to every single one of our 5,229 viewers here, guys, thank you so much. There's also a couple final comments I want to post here. We have Chop Pineapple mentioning Dimitri and Travis are invaluable to Tectum, and the community appreciates everything you do. Chop Pineapple, thank you so much, my friend. Honestly, that gives me shivers down my spine here. That means the world. That is exactly what I'm here trying to do here. And to see that as something that's been understood, it means the world here to me. So yeah, no, really, really appreciate that. And then of course, the legendary Saw mentioned, guys, I got Bitcoin sitting in a wallet, and the only company accepting them in Italy is Ferrari. Yes, the supercar company. When Basic Coffee. Imagine payments with them every day. This is Tectum. Dimitri, I know you have something you want to say about this.
Well, that's a lot of coffee, I tell you this. That's a lot of coffee you can buy. But yes, in reality, people call Bitcoin the digital gold. Yes, that's completely fair. And yes, Bitcoin is a stock at this point, and massive institutions have been investing to Bitcoin, and the price has been going up, going down, whatever.
It's an asset, exactly.
But it's an asset. Yes, this is the correct word. But you see, same as gold, you can take oil, right? Oil has a practical use. Oil is used for petrol. Gold is used for different types of sectors. What is Bitcoin used for? As a stock, as an asset, as a commodity. I'm not saying that you should, tomorrow you should wake up and be able to buy coffee with your Bitcoins. It may sound absurd, but what I'm trying to say is that I honestly believe that there is a different use for Bitcoin and crypto in general. The crypto, the blockchain, they provide a very unique method of processing information, processing transaction, a method of encryption, of protection. So that's what I believe we should be striving towards. We should be striving towards that completely open Web3 space where everyone is benefiting, and as well as everyone participates in that.
Love that. I love that. Just all the inclusivity and the actual utility of Bitcoin in the real world. Maybe we can end off with this thought here. One of the things that actually attracted me to Tectum is the first place was one specific AMA that we had with Alex Gusev, the CEO and founder of Tectum. And he kind of laid out this scenario of, somebody in a third world country who has to wait hours, if not days in line just to gain access to their own paycheck at the end of the day from their bank, who has to pay hundreds, whatever the local currency is, but astronomical fees to be able to access their paycheck. And by the time they get from their home to the bank teller to actually withdraw these fees, their local currency is diminished by X amount of percent. It's outrageous. There's huge, huge issues that exist in this world between people, everyday people, and getting their money and actually using that for paying things. That's what we aim to solve at Tectum, is to help those people, allow them to use Bitcoin in their wallet that they can get in an instant for free, and then to take that Bitcoin, bring it to the store, and actually make a $1 transaction and not have to pay any ridiculous fees for that. It's not possible right now, and we are making that possible. So just in saying, I think I want to end by saying that, because I just really want to enunciate to you, Rainlands, and you, Jared, this is what you're helping to contribute towards. You are helping us change the world in such a positive impact where we can actually make crypto usable for the people in the world who actually need it here. So Rainlands, Jared, thank you guys so much for being a part of this conversation. I'd love to actually end it off by giving each of you guys a moment with the mic and just, let us know how we can support you. Maybe tell us a little bit more about your projects. Send a call to action to the community here. And Jared, I haven't heard from you in a little bit here, so maybe I'll start off with you, and then we'll head over to Rainlands. Jared, the mic is yours.
Yeah. So Eesee.io, we are a much younger Launchpad, but we've seen a lot of success. So do join us. Join us on X. Join us on Telegram, as well as Discord, whichever one you prefer. And we're really glad to be able to support Tectum and participate in helping TCT come into the world. So yeah, looking forward to it, and looking forward to the launch on Eesee.io. Everybody, remember, don't sleep on it. Even 1 second, you will lose a life-changing opportunity.
Love that. Jared, thank you personally for being here. Thank you for bringing the energy. Thank you for bringing the passion. And thank you for the work that you do. I cannot wait to have more conversations with you in the future here. It's been an absolute pleasure here. Rainlands, finish us off here. Feel free to let us know anything you'd like about your project, any calls to action you'd like to share with our community who are here listening. The mic is yours.
Thank you very much. Now, just wanted to say it has been an absolute pleasure once again. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the lovely discussion. Jared, you have been amazing as well. Definitely looking forward to be having more conversations with you guys as well. But yeah, just if we're talking about calls of action, if you want to check us out, it is gempad.app. For both X as well as Telegram, we have the Gempad here if you want to check us out. If you want to have a conversation, I am all about it. If we're talking about food, if we're talking about projects, everything. I have no limits. We can have an awesome conversation here. And of course, do make sure to also check TCT's launch, which is going to be, launch. It's going to be a sale, but later on launch, which is going to be happening on our Launchpad on the 18th of November at 1 p.m. UTC sharp. So do feel free to check it out. And once again, it has been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time. And hopefully you have a great rest of the day as well.
Oh my goodness. So I can absolutely understand why this conversation has been so successful. We are finishing off this conversation at 5,289 viewers here. Honestly, it's because of you guys. We've had a lot of live streams now. We've had a lot of conversations publicly with our community here. You guys, Rainlands and Jared, you bring the energy, you bring the fire, you bring the passion here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Dimitri, the mic is yours for any final words, any final calls to action that you'd like to share with our community here, who are here in droves.
I'd love to thank our entire community for attending. It's insane that we managed to hit more than 5,200 people at this current second, not even at our peak, but at this current second. And I'd love to emphasize that, crypto space is not for competing. Crypto space is for working together. This is why today we had both Gempad, we had Eesee, and unfortunately the Kommunitas couldn't attend. But this is why I'm saying that we should not compete. We should work together for the better future of Web3. And I'd love to thank our supporters, listeners, and viewers that has been with Tectum for ages. People like Chop Pineapple, people like Saturn, right? Guys, you are the one that make this community Tectum, right? This is why we launched TCT, and this is why we believe that there is a future for both the company and the Web3 space itself. Thank you, guys.
100%. Oh man, I hate to press the end stream button because this has been amazing. I'm feeling so excited here. I'm feeling so hopeful for the future. My faith in humanity is here. It's in full force. And that is because of every single one of you guys here. So thank you guys all so much for being a part of this conversation. Definitely give Tectum a follow. Put those notifications on because the launch is happening soon and the launch is happening for you. And guys, I remembered what it was. We're not here to compete. We're here to collaborate. We're here to all win this together and help build a better world together here. And I think such a wonderful way to end off this stream here. So I hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead. My name is Trav. This is Dimitri. And we've had the pleasure of hosting Rainlands and Jared from Gempad and Eesee. And it has been a pleasure here to have this conversation with you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. We will see you next time. Take care.
Thank you, guys.